Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder and CEO at Motoroso.com, and in this video, we're going to be taking a close-up look as well as giving you a detailed and concise installation guide for the AMP Research Powersteps for the 2019 and up Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500s, and it's the same product for the 2020 and up 2500 and 3500 versions of that truck as well. Most well-appointed trucks these days are going to come with some stock running boards, but for those that have trouble getting in and out of the truck, or especially if you've lifted or put bigger wheels and tires, sometimes getting in and out of the truck can be a bit too much work. So for those that want a cleaner look and a much lower drop step without sacrificing ground clearance, the AMP Research Powerstep might be the perfect solution. Now, if you're not familiar, the way that this works is that it'll sense when the door of the truck opens and it'll drop the step down, making it easy to get in and out. And then when you close the door, it'll tuck up nicely and out of the way. Now, the AMP Research Powerstep come in 3 different configurations. They're standard Powerstep, the Powerstep XL, and the Powerstep Xtreme. The standard Powerstep is a pretty simple product. It drops down 13 inches below the door sill and it features 1 motor. But the Powerstep XL is great for lifted applications or those looking for the maximum amount of drop step because it drops an additional 3 inches, giving you a total of 16 inches drop from the door sill. And the Powerstep Xtreme, just like the Powerstep Standard, drops 13 inches from the door sill, but it features 2 motors per side for additional strength and longevity, and the joints, pivots, and motors are all sealed a little bit extra to protect against harsh elements like water, mud, dirt, and sand. Now, what we've chosen here for our friend Rob's 2020 Silverado 1500 is the Powerstep Xtreme because he's a contractor and he's going to be out on job sites. And these steps feature those 4 motors that I mentioned are sealed additionally against the elements, and those connect to these 4 die-cast aluminum articulating arms that feature stainless steel pins and pivots, as well as having the joints PTFE lined to help them operate smoothly and resist wear in those harsh conditions. The step itself is also made from light but very strong die-cast aluminum, and all of the components are then powder coated in a nice satin black to give a nice clean appearance that fits any vehicle. Now, what makes the Powerstep Xtreme a little bit different again is that the steps themselves are coated in an even more durable and even more grippy powder coat finish that's going to help keep grip in those wet, icy, and overall slippery conditions, as well as stand up to additional punishment on work sites and nasty conditions. All 3 versions of the steps have a 600-pound weight capacity, and they also feature integrated LED lighting to help illuminate the steps when they're deployed. Of course, it also features all the necessary wiring harnesses, control modules, and that all wires into the OBD II port that tells the system when the door has been opened and to deploy and close the steps when necessary. Now, if you'd like to purchase any of these, we'll put links to all 3 versions of this in the description of the video, and I'll put a link to the Xtreme steps right here. Again, these will work for the 2019 and up Silverado and Sierra 1500, as well as the 20 and up 2500 and 3500 models of the Silverado and Sierra. And those links will take you over to Motoroso.com, where you can reach us on live chat or you can call us toll-free at 833-MOTOROSO anytime that we can help. Now let's show you how easy this install is. Now, our Silverado didn't have any steps on it, so we didn't have to remove anything, but if you have steps on yours, you'll need to remove those first. Now, for vehicles without steps on them already, the mounting holes have plastic inserts to protect the thread, so you can pop these out using a panel lever. The driver's side front uses these mounting points, and the driver's side rear mount uses these mounting points about 14 inches from the rear of the body. For each side of the vehicle, you'll use one of the motor linkage A and one of the motor linkage B, and you can tell you're using them correctly because the gears will be facing each other inside the vehicle. Using the supplied hardware, place the bolts through the holes on the mounting bracket and fully tighten using a 13mm socket, making sure the bracket is square against its mounting position. With the motor linkages mounted, pull the linkage arm all the way out before mounting the motor. First, place the dust cover and then place the motor, making sure that the gears sync together but the arm stays in the outermost position. Then line up the 3 mounting holes on the motor linkage and use the supplied 4mm socket head mounting bolts with the supplied washers and gently snug. Repeat this process on the passenger side, then we can get started running all the wiring. Before doing anything with your wiring harness, make sure to remove the fuse and put it somewhere safe. The control box will be mounted between the battery and the passenger side quarter panel. Before connecting the control box, we recommend running the wiring harness and connectors underneath the battery mounting bracket. Then connect the wiring harness to the control unit, making sure the rubber gaskets are on the connectors and they click in place. Next, remove the battery cover by depressing the clips and lifting up. Using a 13mm socket, remove one of the nuts from the positive battery terminal connections. Then route the red wire around the battery and place the connector over the post and replace the nut. Next, you can connect the black wire to the negative battery terminal using a 10mm socket and then replace the battery cover. Carefully position the control box down between the battery and the quarter panel and zip tie it in place. To route the wiring harness down to the steps, it's easiest to pass a line feed or a hanger up behind the wheel well to the engine bay, making sure to avoid anything sharp, hot, or rotating. We'll start with the passenger side. Find the shorter run of the wiring harness and attach it to the line feed, and then carefully pull it through from the underside of the vehicle. Run the wiring harness along the edge of the frame and behind the chassis mounts and pass it up and over the front motor linkage. Plug the shortest connector into the front motor. Continue running the wiring to the rear motor along the frame rail using zip ties to secure it as you go. Then plug the rear harness into the motor. To run the driver's side wiring harness, you'll need to remove a few pop clips from the firewall cowl, and then zip tie the harness to these holes. Run the harness over to the driver's side of the coolant overflow tank, then pass a line feed up from the bottom of the vehicle behind the wheel well and pull the harness down to the driver's side frame rail. We recommend also wiring behind the body mounts. Connect the first part of the harness to the first motor and continue running your harness along the frame rail, zip tying along the way, and connect the rear motor. Now, connecting the LED lights is as simple as connecting the red and black wires from the harness to the LED light. Now, AMP Research suggests drilling a hole through the pinch weld to pass the wiring for the LED lights through this hole. They also supply rubber grommets for this step. Now, we thought this was too much work, honestly. We decided this wasn't worth the time or the effort, and instead we simply routed the wires under the pinch weld. Now, if you want to complete this step, just refer to their instructions and make sure you have a few extra drill bits because you're going to go through them. Using strippers, expose a 1/2 inch of wire on each wire. Using the supplied butt connectors, crimp the wires together. The butt connectors supplied by AMP Research are also shrink tubing, so after they're connected, you can use a flame to seal the connections. Then simply clean the preferred mounting location with alcohol, peel the backing off the double-sided tape, and press into place. If you have any loose wiring, use zip ties to secure it, then repeat this on the other side. Using a panel lever, gently pry up on the kick plate on the door sill and then pull it to the side. Peel the carpet back to expose the rubber grommet. Then using a screwdriver, poke a hole through the grommet and then pass a hanger or a line feed through the grommet to the underside of the vehicle. Now connect the 2 purple wires to the line feed and pull it through the rubber grommet, making sure the purple wires are not entangled with the motor linkage in any way. You can now replace the carpet and the kick panel, leaving the purple wires exposed for now. Now strip a 1/2 inch of material off each wire and connect one PosiConnect butt connector to each wire. On the OBD II connector, identify the purple wire that has the black stripe and connect it to the butt connector, making sure it's purple to purple and purple black to purple black. Yes, we agree they should have used different color wires. Now you can simply plug this into the OBD II port and finish tucking the wires behind the kick panel and zip tying where necessary. Now you're ready to mount your steps to the motor linkages. On your step, locate the silver sliding mounting plate and line it up with the holes on the motor linkage arms. You can gently rest the step inside the channel, and looking up from underneath, you can finish lining up the mounting bolts with the holes and loosely threading 1 or 2 turns in to hold the step in place. Before tightening these bolts, measure the distance between the edge of the motor linkage to the edge of the step end cap. On the Silverado, you want this distance to be 5 inches. With the step in place, you can press it down and fully tighten your mounting bolts to 10 pound-feet of torque, and repeat this process on the passenger side. With everything installed and connected, you can replace your fuse in the fuse holder, and the steps should immediately retract and calibrate. Now go around the vehicle, test each door to make sure the steps and lights are functioning properly, and you're finished installing your AMP Research Powersteps. Okay, we hope you found that helpful. Like we said, we'll put links to all versions of the Powersteps in the description of this video, and I'll put a link to the Xtreme for the 2019 and up Silverado 1500, as well as the 2020 and up Silverado and Sierra 2500 and 3500. That link is right here. That'll take you over to Motoroso.com, where you can reach us on live chat or call us toll free at 833-MOTOROSO. Thanks for watching.